ECDL Advanced Excel Lesson 72 Database Functions. There are functions especially designed to be used with lists. The functions perform calculations on fields in a list, but only on those records which meet the selection conditions defined in the criteria range. For example, in a list of sales by city, database functions can be used to obtain values for a specific city only, by selecting that city in the criteria range. The available functions are as follows. daverage averages numbers, dcount counts numbers, dcount counts any non-blank cells, dget extracts a single value, dmax finds a maximum value, dmin finds a minimum value, dproduct multiplies numbers, dstdev calculates the standard deviation of a sample, dsum adds numbers, and dvar calculates the variance of a sample. Okay, if you open the workbook survey, to find information about people who have replied to the survey, copy the top line of the list, that's the titles, to row 2. Rows 2 and 3 will be the area, that's the criteria range, where the selection criteria for the functions will be set. Enter the number 1 in G3. That's just under the heading Reply. So this means we're only including records where the reply was equal to 1. In I2, enter the label Replies. In I4, the word Oldest. In I6, the word Youngest. In I8, the word Total. And finally, the word Average. If we then select the cell J2, and from the Formulas tab, click Insert Function. Now it may be worth mentioning at this point that there is not a direct button to the database functions from the ribbon. With all other types of function you have, but not with the database functions. So the Insert Function dialog box is displayed. We want to choose the category Database and the function dcount from the list. Then click OK. The dcount dialog box is now displayed. In Database, we want the range that contains the entire list, which is A5 to G225. In Field, click on G5. In the criteria box, point or enter A2 to G3. A2 colon G3. And if we then press OK, it will display the total number of replies. We now want to follow the same procedure to find the oldest person who replied. So, in J4, enter equals dmax, open brackets, the range corresponding to the list, which is A5 to G225, comma, the field, which is E5, comma, the criteria range, which is A2 to G3, and then close the brackets. This is saying that the oldest person who replied was an age of 107. Similarly, in J6, we want to enter equals D min, open brackets, A5 to G225 for the list range, comma, E5 for the field, comma, A2 to G3 for the criteria range. Then close the brackets, and this is saying that the youngest person who replied was 34 years old. In J10, we want to display the total age of all the persons who have replied. So, equals dsum, open brackets, and again it's A5 to G225, comma, the field, which is E5, comma, the criteria range, which is A2 to G3. Close the brackets, and not that it means very much, but the total age of the people who replied was 4,322. Okay, finally, for the average, we now want to display the average age of all the people who replied. So, equals D average, open brackets, A5 to G225, comma, the field, E5, comma, A2 to G3, which is the criteria range. Press enter, and we'll find that the average age of the people who replied was just over 57.5 years old. Okay, I just want to mention that if you are checking your answers against the suggested answers at the back of the book, you will find for this exercise they probably won't tally. And the reason why is that this particular spreadsheet has been set up to update the ages. The way I can see that is if I look at age, this one here for Janet Poole isn't actually just the number 53, it's actually using a formula which includes the now function. So each year that goes by, each of these ages is going to get 1 year older. The final thing to do, just to check the oldest and youngest figures, if we select the entire set of data, and then the Data tab, Sort, if we sort by reply, and then add a level, and sort by age, we will now find all the replies are the ones that are at the top of the list, and the lowest age was indeed 34, and the highest was 107, as shown. Okay, there are plenty of other database functions that you could be researching. However, what we've looked at is the most popular ones. Okay, I hope this has made some sense. I look forward to seeing you next time when we're going to discuss nested functions. Okay, I look forward to seeing you then.